Well, thank you so much. And it's really a pleasure to join you. Unfortunately, not in person this time, but I've just landed back from another payment conference in London. So definitely the space is booming if there's anything we've learned from this week. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we've learned at vcita, working in the last year or so with our small business owners who are now looking into new ways of developing their, let's call it business logic or payment proposition. And I'll explain this in a second. Let me quickly start by, in case you're not familiar with what we do, just to show you that we know what we're talking about. We're 11 years old. We have 1.4 million registered users worldwide. We're an American company, but we have a growing presence in Europe that would be around 40% of our customers nowadays. And we're working directly with small business on a day-to-day basis. And for us, I could share, for example, that only last week we've ran a end-of-year survey, and we've had 3,000 responses, and that was specifically around payments. So I hope I can also share some of those results today here with you. From the app perspective, we're helping them manage multiple elements of their business, so their time, their communication with their clients. But from a micro business perspective, if I'm looking at what am I doing with my time, how am I investing my time and my skill set, it has to turn into revenue. It has to turn into payments at the end of the month. So our customers will be again micro businesses. They could be business consultants or financial advisors or yoga studios or healthcare providers or even dog walkers. Anyone who's trading their time and skill set for money. And that gives a very specific viewpoint on what the importance of the payment, because we're not looking necessarily at people that are managing huge long-term projects with some kind of credits or contractual agreements. Mostly we're looking at people who are doing a job and getting paid directly for it. And we're looking to help them with that part exactly. So how do they manage their day-to-day and still make sure that at the end of the month they can rest assured that all of their balance, all of their clients' balance was paid. So we're looking specifically at how do we take this technology of payments, and obviously I'm sure throughout today we're talking about the abundance of different options that small businesses would have nowadays around the facilitation of the actual transaction. Obviously there's a lot they could choose from these days. It either be provided by payments facilitators or their banks, or of course we still have a lot of customers using, cash and checks, less so post-pandemic, but that's obviously still a thing. And we're looking at how do we take that basic capability of getting paid and build on top of it. And I wanted to share 3 examples of what it is that we're doing on top of our platform, and then how it affects our clients' lives and what they tell us about it. So just again, as a little bit of a snippet of data from that survey that we've run only last week. As I said, we got 3,000 results. And when we asked our customers what have they done through the last year to change the way that they were taking payments, we got that from them that 71% or over actually started taking payments over a new medium. So this could have been a wallet like PayPal or Venmo. This could have been other types of digital payments, but that's a huge shift in the way that they were managing themselves. And to be honest, if we're looking at the different answers that we got, only 6% actually said we've changed nothing in the last year or so. So how do we capture the interest of these people, and how do we make sure that they are using a single digital platform for their benefit, but of course also for the benefit of the ecosystem that surrounds them? And we argue, it needs to be more than just a point-to-point payment solution or a request to pay that Olivier and I spoke about recently, which is, how can we build on top of it some kind of a business logic, some way for them to not only have the payment happen, but allow them to automate it, allow them to have more sophisticated methods of payments. And then I do have 3 examples here of some of our customers. So again, we were looking to them for what would create a great value for them, and we've built it within the product. So for one, of course, a lot of our customers, a lot of the small businesses, as I said, are trading their time for money. So they're looking for that connection. If I've spent an hour on this, how do I make sure that automatically that becomes a payment request? And that is something that Ashley Perkins here has been able to do by charging as part of the business service. So she's been able to set up a business service and make it payable already online. Again, at the background of it, there's still the good old link or a good old QR code that's being generated, but that's being done for her. And she doesn't then need to chase it afterwards. So that's one of the benefits that we're seeing, that direct connection between I'm managing my calendar, I'm managing my client, but then I can also set this up in a way that as soon as I have this conversation with the client, they already get a payment link automatically, and I don't have to do that at the end of the day or at the end of the month, or even, unfortunately, in many cases, forget it. So yeah, she said to us that her clients really responded to getting that payment request immediately after the service was provided, which gave them the context. And of course, the fact that their experience was easy and clean and fast made them make the transfer earlier, which of course, again, from a business perspective is extremely important. A second example, we're looking at workflows. So again, from a micro business perspective, maybe the workflow is not as complex as it might be for an enterprise, but still I might be sending out a quote. I want that quote to be approved, turned into an invoice, turned into a payment. Maybe there are several installments. Maybe there's a down payment. Maybe there are all kinds of conditions. So for example, if the service was for any reason canceled, I want to still get paid a percentage of that service. So we allow our customers to build that into the system, build that business logic. When do they want to be paid? How do they want to be paid? What are the conditions for being paid? And we see, again, that our customers really respond to this. So they talk about, it's easier for them to track their finances. It's easier for them to see where everything is with a dashboard, and they spend a lot less time trying to figure out where is that payment that I'm missing. So again, we're looking at creating those added value elements on top of the payment itself. And then finally, what we'd also see in our space is a lot of recurring models, and a lot of models that were created during pandemic in order to create a better buffer. And that's extremely important in uncertain times. So we've seen a huge amount of our customers setting up either a recurring payment or a subscription, something that I might be paying for every month, and I'm eligible to get this amount of meetings or appointments during the month. Or maybe I bought a package of 10 yoga classes for the price of 9, and I want to be kind of building that buffer as a small business, getting paid ahead of time instead of post giving the service. And that, again, from the data we've looked, we've seen 40 up to 50% of our customers that responded to our survey said that was a life changer for them during the uncertain times of the pandemic. So again, if I'm charging in advance, I really have to be very meticulous about who did I charge, for what, when were they eligible to get the service, did they get it or did they not. I cannot be forgetting anyone's payment, and I cannot be mistaken about what is the service that I should have provided. So that element of putting it in the context of that particular client that used it, for this customer of ours, we see that she feels that the connection between the relationship with the client and the payment was, again, very valuable for her. So we've covered quite a lot of different capabilities here. These capabilities, some of them, again, are very similar to capabilities that a bigger enterprise businesses might already have in place, but micro businesses don't necessarily have them. And it's about creating that level of flexibility that we found was very, valuable during pandemic. Of course, before that as well, but we're seeing a lot of traction with those different flexible business logic capabilities. So what have we learned? First of all, for this segment, reducing friction is vital for them to actually get the payment across. Of course, you could say that for every segment, nobody is looking for friction, but we're looking for businesses who have very little resources. They wouldn't have a billing department. They wouldn't have necessarily a dedicated accountant. So reducing friction directly contributed to how well they were able to collect, either during the month or the end of the month. And mostly their clients weren't necessarily looking to not pay. Maybe they've forgotten about it. Maybe they didn't have their cash on them. Maybe they said, I'll do it tomorrow. So those gentle nudges and that very simple user journey really helped them expedite things, and it made a huge difference in their collection times. A second element is that we needed to support a huge amount of workflows. I've mentioned some of them today, but we're looking at, on our system alone, we're looking at deposit, partial payments, cancellation policies, coupons, subscriptions, packages, post-payment, close of the balance at the end of the month. That's just for the micro business segment. That's just for, some of those things could be different ways that a single business is hoping to get paid for different types of services. So that flexibility was greatly appreciated, and we can build all of it on top of the simple request to pay infrastructure that's at the basis of everything that we do. And then finally, of course, payments are all about trust. And we're hoping that, working with our partners, working with their banks or the neobanks, the new solution providers that are out there that are also generating a lot of trust from a different type of customers, is driving the usage of digital payments in the space. And then finally, we are working with a lot of those partners to then go ahead and create those solutions together. So yeah, absolutely. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them at the end of the session.